the Houston Rockets are beating up the Warriors. I don't think it's legal. Like, a lot of this is they're doing things off the ball with Steph Curry and fighting through screens and just bulldozing the Warriors in ways that, like, I don't think is being litigated correctly. Like, I think the refs are letting the Rockets get away with a lot of physicality. And I think, like, that one play was not a dirty play, but it is emblematic of, like, the Warriors are having to deal with a lot of physicality from the Houston Rockets side that was not on purpose. I want to stress, but this is an Ime Udoka series. Like, they are absolutely manhandling the Warriors on and off the ball. And I wonder how this game is going to be officiated now that we've seen Jason Tatum get hurt. We've seen Jimmy Butler get hurt and Ja Morant get hurt in these acrobatic plays. I'm wondering if we're going to see, Kev, these game threes, or as we get deeper into the postseason, that the referees are going to try to manage this and contain this a little more. We're seeing a lot more scuffles across the league in the postseason and a lot more fouls and physicality. I think this is the cost of physicality. You're seeing a lot of these guys who are going up at the rim and they're getting hit hard, and the Jimmy Butler one aside, I think we're going to see the referees are trying to rein this in a little bit more. And especially in this Houston series, the officials and the whistle is going to matter more in this series than any other series in the NBA.
I do think it's going to matter more in this series than any other time. That's spot on. And look, I have a lot of Warriors fans in my life who are sending me clips and in our group chats and all that, talking about the physicality in this series. And like, look, it's true. Like, they're allowing a lot of grabbing, a lot of touching, a lot of pushing. It's just the reality of it. Personally, I'm okay with a lot of the physicality. For years, we've had defenses that have been allowed to be physical on the interior, not allowed to be physical on the perimeter. We're seeing glimpses of what this might look like, where Stephen Curry isn't getting all the whistles. He's never been a high whistle player, but these are things that would typically be whistled over the course of time on the perimeter. Like when he's getting grabbed, that 3-pointer he hit, like that should have been a foul. The broadcasting crew calls it out. Official standing right there doesn't see it. It's kind of remarkable. And never mind, like Dylan Brooks on a play got kind of fell on a 3, trips Draymond. I thought that was the dirtiest play so far of the series. not the Ahmed Thompson play.
There's no history there. Dylan Brooks never, gets his feet tangled up or has any dirty plays. Never. It never happens with that guy.
He's an angel. He'd never do that.
I think Stephen Curry, because of his size and the way he shoots, for some reason, I don't think he gets the 3-shot fouls that James Harden or others, or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, other guys get. And I think something needs to be done about it. Is like, it's not that we need to protect Stephen Curry because he's Stephen Curry, but he gets hit on those 3-pointers way more because of his ability to move while shooting, and that movement and that instability as he's in his shooting form creates a lot of contact with the defender. And he flops a lot. Like he gets hit on the arm and then his legs get dropped out from underneath him. Like, I get it. Sometimes Steph overdoes it, but I think if you look at the numbers, James Harden and other players get way more 3-shot fouls than Stephen Curry. And you can't watch the game and not say that Stephen Curry is not getting hit on some of these plays. And Fred VanVleet's getting away with, he's just like pulling at him in those screens. And when he goes up for a shot, way more contact than should be allowed. And I suspect we're going to see a different whistle.
I do want to talk about pure basketball here, though, too, because the difference between game 1 and game 2 for Jalen Green, to me, I think was symbolic of what this Houston team is missing. When you talk about they have the defenders, they have a bunch of role players, they don't have that star bucket getter. Jalen Green was a star bucket getter in game 2. He had 38 points on 13 of 25 from the field, 8 of 18 from 3, got into his pull-up, was hitting shots off the catch. He was getting anywhere he wanted in the lane as well. The creation was there from him as a passer, 6 assists to only 2 turnovers. Jalen Green, he has had these stretches throughout his career where he just gets hot for 3 weeks and he averages 30 points on elite efficiency, and there's nothing defenses can do to stop him, and Rockets fans feel like they have this star. And then sometimes he goes through stretches where he looks lost out there. For Golden State, I didn't find that they had any answers for this guy on Houston. And for the Rockets, Şengün's their best player. Van Vliet's their veteran. Amen Thompson and Dylan Brooks are their best defenders. But Jalen Green might actually be indeed the true X factor of the series. Because if you're right, Tom, if they're going to officiate this series more tightly and Warriors start getting more calls and some of that, those grabs and pulls start getting called for Houston and guys fall into even more foul trouble than they did in game 2 with 4 fouls for Brooks and Şengün and Thompson, Jalen Green's going to have to be the guy who has more big games like this. That was my main takeaway from Houston after that game too, was they need Jalen Green to have another game or 2 like this to win the series.
Yeah, and it's all because their offense really struggles to, float when they don't have Jalen Green getting hot. And he had 4 straight single-digit scoring games heading into this one. 4 straight. Can he please be consistent? This is a young player. I get it. But when you're trying to win a championship, you need more consistency than you need some of the highs and the lows. The fact that we're having so much volatility with Jalen Green has got to be maddening for Ime Udoka and the fan base. Is just we don't know what Jalen Green we're going to get on a nightly basis. And he was really struggling coming into this game too. And you look at, he had 21 points in his previous 4 games combined going into this game. So they need Jalen Green to be a lot more consistent. And I'm not saying that you save some of those makes in game 2 for the rest of the series, but just can we get 25? Just get a consistent 25 from Jalen Green rather than just Jekyll and Hyde every single time with the Houston Rockets. They need more consistency out of him. It was a great performance. Don't get me wrong, but we need more consistency out of that guy, and he's young, so it's going to take a while for him to get his playoff legs, but they absolutely need A+ Jalen Green if they're going to win this series.
Butler goes out after 8 minutes, and then Steve Kerr's just throwing darts. Pat Spencer plays 12 minutes, and he played pretty well. He played pretty good. Jonathan Kuminga did not. 26 minutes, 4 of 12 from the field. A lot of poor decisions out there for Kuminga. I thought Kerr looked justified with his decision to bench Kuminga. It's also unfair to expect Kuminga to come out there after, multiple weeks of not playing and to go into a playoff game against a physical Houston opponent and succeed. But I did think in that game too, if Pod's dealing with a stomach issue, Kuminga needing to play, Pat Spencer needing to play, it did also put into perspective, if Butler is at all limited the remainder of the series, if he is not capable of some of those playoff Jimmy performances, even if the officiating changes in this series, Tom, it's hard to feel good about Golden State. That Houston just has more options out there that can be relied on, because this Golden State roster behind Jimmy, behind Steph, just there's not much out there that can be relied on a night-to-night basis. Houston has more guys that can go off and get a bucket.
The series is over, period, if Jimmy Butler is limited. That's it. The series is over because they need someone to carry the offense and get the actions, getting downhill, getting to the rim, getting to the free throw line, defending on the other end. If Jimmy Butler is limited, if he's 50% and the Bear wins, okay, we're praying for Jimmy Butler now. That's it. The Warriors just don't have enough bodies that can play at a high level on both ends of the floor. Those two-way guys, they just don't have that on this roster. And it's a big reason why with Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, and Steph Curry in the lineup, there's something like 26-5 this season. And otherwise, they're a middling team. So Steph and Curry need someone that can be an innings eater offensively, and that's Jimmy Butler attacking the rim, getting downhill, playing big on both ends of the floor. They just don't have anyone that approximates that in the least bit. And Kuminga had his big opportunity. This was the big spot, and he blew it. He blew it. And I would be surprised if Jimmy Butler comes back that we see Kuminga playing any significant minutes going forward, because I feel like Steve Kerr kind of was like, all right, you've been praying for minutes and begging for minutes and a bigger role. And he kind of fell flat in game 2. And I think that was his big opportunity. He lost it.